Hi guys, my name is Sharon and welcome to my first and probably last reading vlog. So I'm going on holiday in a couple of days and I thought that I might do a reading vlog whilst I'm away. I don't know if I'd ever vlog at home because my daily life is just so boring, but we'll see how this vlog goes. I don't think I'm much of a vlogger and currently my arm feels tired just holding my phone. And I'm just staring at myself on the screen, and I have like a complex about my right eye, which I can't really control anymore, and it just does its own thing and goes off to the side, and it's kind of made me really self-conscious about the way I look. So I'm not sure I'll vlog again after this. Well, actually, I think I prefer the way I look with these glasses, even though I know so many people stare at me when I go out. But for anyone who's interested and wondering why, I was asked before on one of the shorts I posted. I have this thing on one of my lenses blocking my vision, and basically this is occlusion tape, and I think normally people have this when they have a lazy eye and they block the vision on their good eye, and it's basically to train their lazy eye to become a bit stronger again. But in my case, I'm not doing it for that reason. I just can't see properly out of my right eye. My vision is really distorted in this eye, and my brain has basically forgotten how to match up both my eyes' visions to merge into one image. So I now have permanent double vision. And so by using this occlusion tape to block the vision, I basically only use my better eye to see. In case my reading vlog doesn't go to plan, I might just talk about the book I just finished reading, which is Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult and Jennifer Finney Boylan. It's been so long since I read a Jodi Picoult book. I think the last time I read one of their books was over 10 years ago. Small Great Things, I think the title is. That was such a good book. I have so many Jodi Picoult books on my TBR. And then the only other book I read as a teenager was My Sister's Keeper. And I've never read a book before by Jennifer Finney Boylan. Mad Honey is basically a literary and contemporary fiction. You're following the POVs of two characters. There's Olivia, who's a mother. She's a beekeeper, and her teenage son called Asher has basically been accused of unaliving his girlfriend. So Olivia basically has to witness her son going to trial. This is a legal / courtroom fiction as well. I wouldn't class it as a thriller, but there is a mystery element because obviously you don't know if he did or didn't unalive his girlfriend. Then you're also following the POV of his girlfriend, Lily, in the past before she was unalived, and you're slowly seeing her secrets and her hidden past come to light. This was a really interesting plot. I don't know if I could talk about anymore because something happens halfway which I didn't see coming, and I didn't know a whole lot about the book going into it actually. It's definitely a really good book club book. There's lots to discuss, there's a lot going on. Olivia, being the mother, is of course really convinced that her son would never do something like this. The whole time you're wondering, is her son innocent or not? Because he does have a bit of a volatile temper. I wasn't quite sure how I felt about the ending and the reveal. It felt a little bit rushed compared to the rest of the book because it's not a short book. I can't give away spoilers, but overall it was a good book. I did enjoy it, and I definitely need to read all the rest of the other Jodi Picoult books on my TBR. And also because Olivia is a beekeeper, I learned so much about bees in this book as well, and that was actually really interesting. I definitely recommend if you are looking for a book club book. So for my holiday, I am going away to Crete with my partner. We're staying at an all-inclusive resort. I have actually never done an all-inclusive resort before, so this will be fun. I'm definitely more of a city break kind of girl. I love looking at other countries' architecture and exploring like cultural landmarks. I'm not really a beach kind of person and I don't like sunbathing and stuff either. I definitely love exploring places more, but this will be different for us to laze about doing nothing. And so I think when my boyfriend goes into the sea, I will probably just lounge and listen to an audiobook. So hopefully, I will manage to get through one book on holiday. And now I guess I need to go finish packing. Hi, I am back home now, and that was a failed vlog. I didn't do any vlogging. I took a few videos of my food. There were loads of kids running around, so I didn't really want to get them in my video either. But it is actually so much more stuffier here than in Greece because at least there's aircon there. And I miss my breeze. There's not much of a breeze here, but also in a way can't complain because when we don't have like a ridiculous 30 something degrees heat wave, instead we have like really cold weather with rain and it's so miserable. I feel like we don't often have a nice in between where it's just like mid 20s, the weather's not too extreme, and yeah, we either get one end of the spectrum or the other. We had a really good time in Crete. We were originally meant to stay in a bungalow at the resort, but we got there and it was quite late. It was close to midnight, and then the receptionist said that it wasn't very accessible, and he did recommend us to move into the main hotel building. And he said there were lots of stairs as well. And then he put us into the adults only section of the main hotel building, into a ground floor room with sea view and a little private lawn. But we literally got into the room. Not that I could see this, but my partner saw it, and the staff who helped us take our luggage there saw it as well. There were two cockroaches. There was one on the floor and one scuttling across the headboard. And we were like, yeah, no, we don't want this room anymore. It was a really nice resort, so I don't think it was to do with cleanliness or anything. I think one of the housekeeping uh, left the balcony door open and they got in through there. But it's a hot country, and I used to live and work in Hong Kong for a period many years ago, and I encountered a fair few cockroaches myself where I lived. I think that just happens when you live in a hot country. I also accidentally trod on a cockroach as well when I was living in Hong Kong. I just woke up one morning for work and I was walking around in my flip flops, and then I heard something crunch under my foot. I looked down and was greeted by a cockroach. I don't consider myself a screamer. I don't scream, I'm more of a silent kind of person, but the scream that left my mouth when I saw that cockroach, I actually didn't even know I could scream like that. So I have a bit of PTSD when it comes to cockroaches. And we were like, yeah, no, we don't want this hotel room. And then we got downgraded to a first floor room, and it didn't have as good as a view. It wasn't a sea view. We had like the roof of some kind of building instead. But I was like, it's fine. Cockroaches, I think, can appear on any floor, but I think it's easier for them to get into the building when you're on the ground floor. So I was like, it's fine. We'll take the downgrade. But overall, really nice holiday. We ate a lot of Greek food. We joined some of the classes at the resort, including yoga, aerial yoga, Latin dance. We joined a little dance tournament. the staff member who was hosting darts was like, "Oh, you want to do darts?" And the thing about being visually impaired when you play darts is that no one judges you for being bad, but everyone is like surprised and cheering for you when you do well. Which, to be fair, I'm not a good darts player. I'm really not. But luckily for me, everyone else playing as well, including my partner, were, I'm sorry to say, but they were really bad. And some were even worse than me. And every dart I flew was a complete fluke. Also, it was my first time doing aerial yoga. Had no idea what I was doing, but that was also pretty fun and interesting experience. There was also an open air cinema there, and we went to see The Devil Wears Prada 2. Was it good? It was alright. There were some funny parts. Of course, it would never live up to the first film. It's my favourite film of all time. So, besides doing some activities, we mostly did a lot of chilling. And I don't like going into the sea because I have a fear of the ocean. When my partner was in the sea, I lounged on a daybed and I listened to my audiobook. I was listening to Summer Fridays by Suzanne Rindell. This wasn't on my TBR, I came across it by complete accident. I just searched the word summer on my library's app and it just came up, so I decided to listen to it. And I think it is described as a rom com. I went into it basically not reading the blurb and just fully expecting it to be a rom com. Though when I listened to it, I didn't really get rom com vibes. It was definitely romance, but it felt a bit more serious actually in tone, I felt like, well, from the audiobook anyway. The story is set in New York City in the 90s, and I loved that setting. I love anything set in New York. And as a 90s kid, I love stories set in the 90s as well. So here you're following the protagonist called Sawyer, and she's got a fiance called, I'm so bad with names, Charles? I think it was called Charles. And he's this like hotshot lawyer, and he takes her out to this work event slash work dinner. And here Sawyer gets to meet Charles's female colleague called Kendra, who he's extremely close with. And this colleague, Kendra, has brought her partner along, her boyfriend called Nikolai. So the fiance Charles and the colleague Kendra, they both step outside for a smoke, and Nikolai, because of this, he basically assumes that his girlfriend Kendra and Charles are cheating on them both and they're having like a work affair. Sawyer also has her suspicions from other things she's picked up on. So Sawyer and Nikolai both start thinking that their partners are cheating on them with each other. But at this work event, Nikolai doesn't come across in the best way. He's kind of a bit of an asshole. But then Nikolai finds Sawyer, and I think they start out by emailing and then it moves to AIM. If anyone knows AIM, that stands for AOL Instant Messenger. I used to have AIM myself, so yes, this book is very much for the millennials. And Nikolai and Sawyer start bonding and become close themselves. This book is heavy on the infidelity and cheating, which I had no idea going into this. I'm not really a fan of the cheating trope. I actually feel like I was more invested in Sawyer's personal journey with her career. She is an assistant for an editor at a publishing company, but she really wants to write as well. So you see her journey through that. And also, how did I feel about the ending? I'm actually not sure how I felt about the ending. It definitely didn't give rom-com vibes. The audiobook was kind of long for a romance. I do prefer my romance books a bit shorter. And overall, it was okay. Definitely had the summer vibes. So I think it's a good one for the summer if you don't mind the cheating trope. But I personally don't think that the actions of the characters were really justified. I don't know if I'll be doing this again. I don't have like really aesthetically pleasing areas in my house to film, which is why I'm always like filming over there where my bed is. And my bookshelf is downstairs. It's, a public area of the house. And yeah, I just don't want my parents to walk downstairs and see me filming a video. But if you liked this video, please give it a like or subscribe. It would really help the channel out. I normally don't post vlogs. I post mostly recommendation videos and wrap up videos. I read a lot of thrillers, but also a lot of other genres as well. Thank you for watching, and thank you for bearing with my terrible vlogging skills. How do people vlog for so long? Like, my arms are tired already. But I'll see you in my next video.